one day I was on a flight and I learned this. It was like a terrarium of people away from humanity, and I got to see humanity at its best. And so I'm on the flight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have a medical emergency. Is there a doctor on board? And I heard these footsteps coming behind me. And I turned around and there was this woman and she was looking at me and she was like, "You get out of here." And I'm like, "You don't understand. I'm a friend of the..." "No, you're no friend." I go, no. I sold them insulation and I know why you're here. And she pulled out the contract and she just stripped me down. She stripped down the company, but I felt so bad because she was shooing me away and the family wouldn't talk to me. And I had to walk away, never to see them again. Me, not the hero, me being the villain. And that changed me. You know, by the way, one more thing. I'm getting knee surgery tomorrow. I'm getting this right knee replaced tomorrow. And I'm not happy about it. I'm scared. Then I am going to be my happiest self. And that's something that we strive for here at Antis Roofing. And that's something that I learned. I call it again, my happiest and luckiest discovery.
Man, this is quite an incredible story.
It was kind of like when you're speaking on stage and you do that little, "Okay, we're going to take a break now. Everyone do laughing yoga." We just did that. Up the mood again.
All right, everyone. I got a super special guest with me today. Charles Antis of Antis Roofing and Waterproofing, the man, the myth, the legend, and the philanthropist. Charles, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much, Nazar. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me on as your guest today.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate having you here. Obviously, an industry heavyweight. We'll get started with, how did you get into this roofing business 35 or so years ago? How did it all come together? If you can tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. I didn't seek to be a roofer. My father wasn't a roofer. I grew up in Oregon, where every man I knew, including my father, worked either in the woods cutting trees or were in the lumber mills turning it into product. And my dad worked in the mills. I did not see roofing as anything I wanted to do. All I knew was I was a laborer. I worked hard. Work was dangerous. I wanted to get away from that. I came to California. I always wanted to live here. This is where I want to live, not in a small town. But something happened when I came down here. I got a sales job. And it was great because sometimes when you sell people, you really fall in love with them like you should, and you're selling to somebody and you're having these relationships. So I was learning how to sell. I wasn't a great salesman yet because I didn't know anything about this company. I was selling insulation door to door, telling people it'd save money on their heating costs. Well, what happened is I sold this family one day, and of all the people I sold that summer, this was the family back in the summer of 1984. This was the family that I liked the most. I was so excited to go see them the next day to pick up the check. And I probably make $1,000 on this sell. I don't know. I'm just going out there and I'm remembering the family. They're really awesome. The girls, they have maybe 12-year-old twin girls. And then the parents are deaf. They're hard of hearing. And so we had to write everything down. And I'm driving out there and I go to pick up the check. This is in Pacoima in Southern California in LA. I go on the porch and I knock and nobody answers. And I'm thinking, oh, they're deaf. They didn't hear me. I knock again. And this time I see the father look at me through the window glass on the door. But he turns around and gets on the phone typing machine. Like, what's going on? As I was sitting there, I felt the porch shake and I heard these footsteps coming behind me. And I turned around and there was this woman and she was looking at me and she was like, "You get out of here." And I'm like, "You don't understand. I'm a friend of the..." "No, you're no friend." I go, no. I sold them insulation and I know why you're here. And she pulled out the contract and she just stripped me down. She stripped down the company. She told me how I didn't really care about them. I didn't even find out what their monthly bill was before I told them this would save them that. And it was all true. I was just doing what the company told me to do. But I felt so bad because she was shooing me away and the family wouldn't talk to me. And I had to walk away, never to see them again. Me, not the hero, me being the villain. And that changed me. I said, I will never be in that situation again. I will never be the villain. And I didn't know it wasn't voice in me, but something resolved, settled in me. And I think that's a powerful story because I looked for a job with my hands because I'm a laborer. That's how I was raised. The only job I saw was in roofing. And that's how I got in there. But one more part of that is the hardest work I ever did. We were tearing off these old LA roofs, 8 layers thick. It's hard to breathe. It's hot. One day I was asked if I would go solve the leak on unit 310B. It was at this condo. Solve a leak? It's better than this. And I went over there and I got a chance to solve a leak. And this was when I worked for another company. It was Tim Curtis Roofing. Tim Curtis, I believe, is still practicing. And Tim Curtis, who's kind of a philosopher and a scientist, the way he would solve leaks, he'd always say to me, "Charles, solving leaks is just like, you got to think of the roof and the wall like feathers on a duck's back. It's beautiful because every feather overlaps the one below and water cascades off off its back. The same must be true with roofing and flashing. And so that was in my head. He'd said it. Give me this chance to go solve this leak. And I went and I met the family. They showed me the leak. And I had this feeling like it was the opposite of that feeling on that porch, I get to be the hero. And I went up there and I sized up that leak. I went on the top and I found it. I was able to find the leak and I popped it all apart. And it was on this coping metal. Pulled it all apart. I sealed it. I put it back together. Felt really good. But there's still a lesson in here because Tim Curtis came up on the roof the next day and he goes, "Hey, did you solve that leak?" And I puffed out my chest and I said, "I sure did." And I walked over and I pointed to it. And he went like this and he goes, "Yeah, I think that's going to leak again." And I said, "What do you mean?" "No, I told him everything I told you. I took it all apart." He goes, "Charlie, you put the coping on backwards. You put the top piece on first, the bottom piece on second, and now it's bucking water." Heard that. It just stung me like an arrow through the chest. And once again, I thought, I'll never do that again. And there was quiet resolve in me. I will never miss another leak again. Funny how I've never told the story like this has started. Nazar, I really appreciate this. There was really some quiet resolves twice early in my career. One was to always honor the customer, always give them something of value. And the second was really a lesson in waterproofing. It's really, I don't know, the thing about waterproofing, and we're going to get more into it, but everything about this trade that we do, you're going to find, if you listen to me at all, that it is powerful. We are those that are trained in this trade as old as time to protect families. We keep families safe and dry, and we at Antis Roofing are proud of that. All of us. It's not just me walking up saying, "Look at that leak that I solved," because we don't miss leaks today. Solve the leak no matter what it takes to keep the family safe and dry. But it's all of those, our men, our suppliers, everybody in our supply chain. We walk together hand in hand, knowing that we keep families safe and dry. And there's something really honorable. So all the listeners, I know we're mostly roofing contractors, hold yourself that way. Don't hide your hands in your pockets so they can't see the caulking on your nails like I used to do when I would stand next to my brother who was an engineer and I was just a roofer. Man, today, if I've got a dirty nail or a smashed nail, I'm going to talk with my hands. I want you to see that these are the hands that protect families. Honorable trade. It's always been necessary because it's a basic need and it always will be. So good on you and walk tall. All right, I'll get to questions now. Sorry.
Absolutely. I mean, every trade is honorable. And I've always really impressed by the way, this industry has treated me because I'm mostly from the white collar industry. So I didn't really know much about roofing, to be honest, before I got into this about 3 years ago. So I've been learning. I'm still learning. Every time I talk to someone like you in a podcast, I'm like, holy cow, there's so much more to this. It's great. It's amazing. I want to talk a little bit about you giving back. And we're seeing you in every philanthropic mission there is pretty much all over the internet. Whenever I see you, you're doing something, whether it's a blood drive, whether you're handing out food, whether you're giving a roof away. How did that happen? I mean, have you always been that way? Why is that so important?
No, I mean, I learned that it was an accidental discovery. I say it's my luckiest discovery to realize that was the thing that would propel business. But I think giving was something that, my dad, little things. He's 85 today. I just saw him this morning. He would do some things. He never did anything wrong by people. He would never steal anything that's not his. He would always honor things. But he also, every 2 months, I remember he'd have this little red pin on his jacket. And then mom would say, "Hey, did you give blood?" And "Hey, give blood? You give blood?" It was like, I'm like 8 years old. I'm trying to figure this out. I go, "Why do you do that?" And, sometimes he'd tell me about accident victims a little bit, but I couldn't understand that. But the one thing I remembered that my dad always said when I was a little kid is he said, I go, "Dad, why'd you do it?" And he said, "Because, son, it's the right thing to do." He didn't get emotional. He said, "Because it's the right thing to do." I didn't hear that for a long time, but I really hear it today, and there's something really powerful in doing the right thing. What question was I answering? Because I got into thinking about my dad and I got emotional.
No, I mean, I was just asking you how you got into this. I guess it's in your lot to give since your
Well,
dad did
my
it.
dad set
Um,
an example. That's what it was. I'm sorry, I forgot that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And
you're allowed to get emotional. Absolutely. I love that. It's a natural interview. It's not scripted. Actually, my dad used to tell me this growing up. He was in the military. Every time that someone would help me with something, he would tell me that, hey, if somebody helped you, you don't necessarily have to help that person back because they might not need your help, but you need to pay it forward always because there's always someone out there that needs it. So,
yeah,
just keep
so
giving. That's it.
I so agree. And my dad set me up for that practice. But really what happened was I finally started my business. And when I started my business, you have to appreciate how desperate I was. And if we have a lot of young entrepreneurial contractors here, that feeling is there's just, how is there going to be enough work? There's all these rules and regulations. I was so desperate for calls, only getting 2 or 3 a week, that I actually spent one day putting weather stripping on that home bedroom door that I'd converted to an office. So if somebody called, they wouldn't hear my kids. I was pretending I was bigger than I was, just hoping I got a call. And under that type of desperateness, I got a call one day, and it was from a family and a woman. She said she had leaks in every room. And so that was perfect for me. I mean, I loved repairs. I wasn't set up to do big re-roofs yet. I was just me. If I could go out and do 3 or 4 repairs, charge $500 a piece, gosh, it's a win-win. Instead, though, as I drove closer to the neighborhood, it was around Los Angeles airport area, I noticed the homes were getting smaller, more disheveled. I remembered seeing graffiti on the way to the house. It just stands in my head, and it stunned me a little. What stunned me more is when I finally turned on that street and I just saw this dead grass, small square box home with a flat roof. It wasn't what I was imagining. It didn't look like it had but 2 rooms in there. But I went to the door because, again, Dad always do the right thing, all those things that he said. I knocked on the door, and that was a life-changing moment because my sensations were overwhelmed. First, by the woman that answered the door. She wasn't smiling. She had an expression of exhaust, like an expression of help me. Whoa. Before I could think of what to respond to her, what to say, the second impression, it was this smell of mildew. It was so putrid that I recoiled. And now I'm getting out of here. This is not what I thought I was doing. I'm just reacting in kind of this fight or flight. But then this third impression, my hand is being pulled. I turn down, and instead of this tired expression on a woman or my fearful expression, I see this little girl with this big smile, and she's just pulling me. And I had no choice but to just follow her through this crowded house to an undersized hallway and to her room. And I knew it was her room because of her pride smile on her face when she points to this brand new My Little Pony poster on the wall. She's just so proud of that pony poster, and she's looking at me smiling, and I'm trying to smile back. Then I look down at her feet and I see the moldy mattress that she sleeps on. 3 more where her siblings sleep. It just hit me like my compassion was not there yet. I was scared because here I was, have a mortgage payment to make. I don't get any calls. I know this family doesn't have money. I just didn't know what to do. I was just in shock until finally, after what seemed like 5 minutes of me staring at that little girl, her staring at me, pointing at the poster, her mom walks in the room with that same expression. And this is the time that expression had as if it was words came out of it. And it was like, this is pathetic. I know you're not going to be able to do anything. And it was something in that I just had to say, ma'am, I'm going to take care of your roof. And I'd never said that before that I can remember, but that came out of, ma'am, I'm going to take care of your roof, thinking maybe it was just a hole in the roof. But when I went up on that roof that day, they needed a whole new roof. And that was a whole different enterprise. I had to get on the phone and get volunteers. I didn't have the connections to know I could get the product donated yet. So I went to Home Depot and I picked up what I could get to make that roof with the tiniest bit of slope on it, watertight. It wasn't my best roof on the outside. It was dripping black asphalt when it was done, but it kept that family in that house because it was dry on the inside. And I think that is the trigger that changed everything in my life, because I realized that when you have this talent, when you have this ability to solve a leak, keep a family safe and dry, then there could have been nobody in that home other than me that could have done anything powerful. And if you live your life doing what you love and finding a way to give it away, you are a lucky and blessed individual, not only at home and how you sleep, in your business, the way you thrive in culture, the way you thrive in community. So today, it took a long time to systematize that, to realize what was happening and the power of it. But today, yes, we're very involved. We've donated the last 99 roofs in Orange County for Habitat for Humanity. I've been on that board for 14 years. We've donated $2 million in roofing product there, along with Eagle Tile, along with Beacon Building Product, GAF. It's been phenomenal, and it makes us money because we retain our employees. We've donated the roofs for Ronald McDonald House locally on multiple houses, instituted something nationally where members of the Roofing Alliance and National Roofing Contractors Association were providing the roofs on all of the Ronald McDonald houses in the country. And we're all better off for it in culture, in brand brand in sleep. And I mean, how you sleep to me is right up there with profitability. How I sleep at night is right up there to me in culture. It's really how my employees sleep tonight. And if we can lift those all around us, not just in our teams, but in our community and in our trade, then we're living, I think, at epicenter of It's a Wonderful Life every day. And that's what I strive to do, because I can get really crazy in my head. I'm capable of working really long hours and stressing over things. But if I can find a way to give away what I do best every day, then I am going to be my happiest self. And that's something that we strive for here at Antis Roofing. And that's something that I learned. I call it, again, my happiest and luckiest discovery.
Man, this is quite an incredible story.
I'm not, it was kind of like
Okay,
when you're
perfect.
speaking on stage and you do that little, okay, we're going to take a break now. Everyone do laughing yoga. We just did that. Up the mood again.
I'm going to put that in the bloopers.
Okay.
Charles.
Bloopers, that's the best.
That's good.
We have more bloopers than content.
Man, everything's content. Like I used to think that like you got to be super structured and whatnot. Now it's like it's your life. Like who you are is what you are, and what you are is your content. Let's get on with this. I want to ask you something about, like, obviously you started with that one. I just keep thinking about that $1,000 paycheck, and now you have built a company worth millions of dollars. What do you say to those that want to give back? Smaller companies, roofing companies, even like any construction trade, home service companies. Obviously they don't have. You're very successful. You have a big team now. You're able to do more because of, all the success that you've had. But there are companies that getting started, they don't even probably have experience in the trades. Maybe they're just very passionate about it. Like when I started my marketing agency about 7 or 8 years ago, I didn't know a lot. Even 3 years ago, I didn't know about roofing a lot, but then I had to learn. So it's kind of death by learning, sort of. What do you say to those people? How do they make an impact in the community where they have limited funds to give away or limited things to be able to afford? What do you say to those people, Charles?
I think that's a great question. Those people that dove in because for some reason it doesn't fit them. There's a sin principle a lot of us will carry into our early beginnings of our careers, being an entrepreneurial owner of a construction company. We don't feel like there's enough. We've got to watch it. We got to almost hoard it here. It feels that way. And so it's very counterintuitive to let go of something. In time, by the way, your instincts will tell you is even more important than the cash, or just as, because you need that time to chase. You need that time to score. You need that time to produce. But something really amazing happens. And I could say it kind of like in a big statement now, like I've learned this over the last 20 years, and I wish I would have started earlier. Like the losses, the time, the little checks pale in comparison to the long gain floods of good that comes at your company when you do this. So I'm going to tell you, just try it. You don't need to write the big check, but maybe do this with your employees. Call me. If you're a Southern California contractor and you're trying to do good, do you want to go give with us? Yeah, I'll let your employees one day when we're doing a give, maybe on Habitat for Humanity, maybe on Ronald McDonald House, maybe on one of the gives where you have planned right now, you come up on that Boys and Girls Club with us and you give with us and you let your people share that and you watch your retention go up. You watch your sleep at night effect, like I talk about, go up, and you watch your brand go up because something happens. It's what happens is that nonprofit that you benefit, they have a whole network of people. They have a board of directors that run the city. I mean, they're literally big CEOs on big companies. They've got staff and they've got their own marketing department. And when you donate that, you don't know this, but they start telling everybody. You don't see it at first. It doesn't end up in the paper at first, but they just buzz about it. They buzz about it. And pretty soon everyone sees you a little different. And pretty soon, this is a miracle. You don't know what happens. You don't get knocked in the head, but suddenly one day you wake up and you see yourself higher. You see yourself more powerful, and then you're able to give even more. And what I find is you just can't give too much. We made a commitment recently, $25,000 to United Way. We're already donating the roofs and all these other things, and it's a long story. I won't get into it right now. We're actually contemplating making that a bigger give, as much as $100,000 in roofing services, because they have a roof need right now. And so my point is who could do that but us? We're a roofing pro. I already told you GAF would say okay. I mean, they can't give every roof, but if we give them time, they say, I will do everything I can to bring the community together because they understand it helps me survive. And they also understand it helps their brand survive. And that's why they thrive. So I'm just saying it's an incredible opportunity to explore. And I'll tell you this, I'm very Charles at antisroofing.com. I don't go to those LinkedIn nudges. I get too many scammers on there. And go with me on LinkedIn. Hey, Charles, I'm trying to get a hold of you on one of my posts. I'm very available. We're very accessible. possible. We will show you how to do it. I take 15-minute calls or longer with anybody who really wants to learn how we do this. And I'll explain, and I want to say it one other way. This is a way that I explain it to kids, but I also explain it to everyone this way. And I haven't told you this story. You might have heard me tell it, but I want you to see what this does to people. If you could look at all of us human beings, we're really designed to work together. We're really designed to flow together. You know what I learned upon the roof solving that leak that no one could solve? I learned to lay on my back and imagine myself a drop of water. I would see myself. I literally would falling, clinging to that chimney, dripping and pulling and pooling. And somehow I would know where to pop up the leak. I would know where to pop up that tile. I'd find the leak every time. There's something powerful that roofers do but we also learn that we're built that way. We're built to give, built to do that in the community. And there's this thing that water taught me. And I'm going to speak in first person as water. This is what water says that we use to solve leaks. Water says, "For where there is failure, I will find it always. I do not pause to preside. I just flow without bias." We're meant to do in the community. And I'm going to show you an example now. It took a long setup, but one day I was on a flight and I learned this. It was like a terrarium of people away from humanity. And I got to see humanity at its best. And so I'm on the flight. We're on our way to a convention. I had to get there. I had to speak the next day. It's a roofing convention. It's the Roofing Alliance convention, actually. Not the convention, but they're at board meetings. And I'm on our way, my family's with me. And all of a sudden we hear, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's your captain speaking. We have a medical emergency. Is there a doctor on board?" If you've ever been in that, I'd say about 30% of the population have seen that, especially if you travel a lot. There's something that happens that's amazing. First of all, nobody moves. You think about when that happens, the doctor never pops up right away. There's a pause. It's a long pause. It's at least 30 seconds. Everybody's settling themselves. It's a pin drop moment. Everybody's thinking about their lives and what this means. There's a man 2 seats ahead of me. He's looking at his watch. I can tell exactly what he's thinking. I'm feeling it echoing. He's pissed. He's going to miss his connection for his next flight. I'm pissed that I'm going to not to Orlando in time to get a meal, having to speak the next day. Something finally happens after a long time, which I'm going to mirror, reminded me of the long time I spent in that little girl's room before her mom walked in, where I couldn't say I'll do anything. After a long time, a man stood up. It was a man that was behind me with this British accent. I heard him the whole flight. He was quiet for a minute and a half, but he stood up. And I'm thinking, I'll be damned, that guy's a doctor. He even had, I swear to God, he stood up. I turned around, he had a stethoscope around his. I mean, why did it take him a minute and a half? All of a sudden, another woman, she stands up and they talked to the captain, to the flight attendants, and they basically said, if you have a blanket, pass it down. We didn't have blankets. We passed our napkins. Some people passed ice. The whole plane, including the pilot, came to this aid of this person who was right behind my children, who were a little bit not understanding why a man was convulsing behind them. Something started to shift. Finally came on and said, "We're going to have to make an emergency stop in Albuquerque." And we were disappointed, but by the time we got to Albuquerque, and by the time the medical professionals came on that plane and took that man safely off the plane, we stood up and we cheered. We just cheered. We were so happy. The guy that was looking at his watch, me, selfish me, who wanted that meal, all we wanted as a community was to be whole. And we did it up in the air. We landed, and all the way to Orlando from Albuquerque, we talked. I got to know that doctor who I originally thought was annoying behind me. He wasn't a doctor. He was the dive medic at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach. He was the guy that checks on the animals, but he was qualified more than anybody in that moment to provide that aid to that man to save his life. And we assisted him, and we were forever changed by it. That man's going to tell that story just like I tell that story of the little girl with the moldy mattress. He's going to tell that story the rest of his life, and I can't wait to meet him one day and say, "Hey, I was at..." And the woman that stood up wasn't a doctor either. She was a nurse at the same hospital where my children were born premature, Chalk, and where they spent their first month in an incubator. And it was just a beautiful reflection we got that changed our lives that we'll remember forever. And I think that I want you to understand that we are built this way as human beings, and you are lucky to be in the trades where you basically provide shelter. Whether you're doing, we're building a structure with a solid base and with the roof that can keep the family safe and dry. When you're part of that and you decide to give it away, you have power. If you're a manufacturer and you're not giving it away, you need a marketing lesson, because you get a tax write-off for this. I mean, it's huge. You can actually almost make money on the deal and get yourself in the roofing magazines. And I'm not saying you do it for that reason. I didn't do it for that reason. But when it starts to happen, it's a beautiful beautiful thing. I'm telling you, people vouch for you. It's the small stories. One more quick story. It's really worth that. If you're sales and marketing, sales and marketing to me didn't even mean anything to me 36 years ago or 40 years ago. I didn't know what they were. Marketing to me was, telling that duck story. It looks like feathers on a duck's back. I'm going too far. I'm not going to tell a story unless you ask, because I'm going to go too far.
No, go ahead. This is all about stories. You're a great storyteller. I'm sure you get told that a lot. So yeah, let's hear it. Well, I was just saying that I'm sure you've heard this a lot. You are a great storyteller. So let's hear it.
I get so many stories. When I get emotional, I love it. But when I go down that vein, I have to take us off script so much. I've learned to let's go back to now. It'll probably come up again.
I have a fun question.
Okay.
I'm sure you're deemed a hero by peers, your communities, your friends, your employees, even your kids. How did that superhero branding come about with Antis? Because I see superhero type figures.
Yeah.
I've seen some of your videos doing crazy things. So how did that come about?
Well, honestly, before we had this is actually an interesting story. I'm learning what marketing was 20 years ago. A guy that used to work for me, he was a marketing guy at Home Depot. And he told me the story about this. My sales director was in a sales meeting selling a condominium. There were 5 board members lit up in boxes like this in a Zoom, and he was in there too. There were 30 people that were piped in that were members at large who weren't allowed to talk in this executive session. This board meeting is going along, just starting. We have outstanding contracts. He's trying to sell some. The treasurer says, "Devin, I'm sick of Antis Roofing." It's not used to hearing this. What do you mean? Your prices are too high. We think it's because you have that suite at the Honda Center and we're entertaining guests. We shouldn't be paying for your tickets. And then Devin's trying to, he goes, "Well, you think you're talking about, we donated tickets to over 100 nonprofits and they get to see over 100,000 people have gone." And all of a sudden he says, "No." And nobody said anything. And we're getting pushed out of this meeting. All of a sudden there was a voice from the audience, no video. She goes, "Excuse me, can I talk for a second?" The treasurer says, "No, you have no right. This is executive session." And the woman says back, "I will not be silenced." And then she told a story about being at a Habitat for Humanity build with Antis Roofing, about the work we do in the community. Devin says it was silent. Then one of the other board members said something positive about our company. Every other board member said something positive. And they signed not only the contract that Devin went to sell, they signed every outstanding contract. I told that story to McKay Daniels, who's the CEO of the NRCA. His first month he was in office, he put it in his newsletter because he was looking to make the quote on why giving helps you. It helps the industry. It helps your community. And it helps you sleep at night. It's such a win-win. And here's an avid story that really explained this. And by the way, Devin is not a believer of corporate social responsibility. This stuff that we do, call it fearless giving. I can't do that, but you find a way to do it. There's something really powerful about it. And these stories, I tell you, whether it's the airplane story or Devin's board meeting story, is there different ways to look at how it works. I think it's anecdotal. I can't give you facts and expect you to understand it, but I can tell you what really happened to me and you'll be able to relate it. And that's why I speak this way.
Man, that's awesome. Now I'm losing my train of thought because I got so deeply involved in that roller coaster that you just took me on, Charles. I want to ask you about something kind of relevant to some of these companies that, we work with roofing companies, right? We do marketing for them, we do lead gen and even do automations and things like that. So we try to not only do marketing, but also help them systematize their processes, because that's been one of the biggest challenges that I see in the market is like, oh, you're getting leads, but you don't know what these leads are going. You don't know if these leads are being followed up. Like there's systems and automations and AI you can use to simplify that, right? Yeah. Even so, the biggest struggle that I see owners face when they scale, like you have a big operation now. I don't even know how many employees do you have?
We last count 160.
160. Okay. And then I'm sure you have suppliers and vendors and other channels to manage. So what I'd like you to really hone in on, Charles, and I think this will resonate with a lot of business owners, specifically in the roofing industry or even in the home service industry. How do you manage to give time, not just give away money and roofs and donate all that? That's great. But how do you also manage to give your time while build this culture, while build this business? And scaling to a business at the scale that you're at with 160 employees, plus vendors, plus your suppliers, plus your peers, your boards that you're on. Please be, I don't know how to put this question any better, but I want to be able to relate to these business owners that are really struggling while they're scaling because they're not able to manage their time efficiently because their team needs training, their team needs proper knowledge and education and continuous learning, and they're struggling to keep up with that. And they're also struggling to add more to plate because they're also adding more business. How do do you balance that? What would you say to those business owners?
I get it. It's impossible. There's not enough time. I mean, we have to do it all ourselves. It doesn't make any sense, but I didn't learn it. For me, I couldn't go right to the big giving. So let me tell you the way I got it. I was told by somebody I need to step away from my team. I was first one there at 5, last one to leave at 7 every day. I would work 7 days a week and I was getting burned out. It's just, this is a story I often tell. I was so out of sorts. My nephew, who was interning with me at the time, he's one of my VPs now, but this is like 17 years ago, 18 years ago. He worked 98 and a half hours one week. And it took me 2 days to congratulate him because I was a tiny bit disappointed he didn't hit 100. Do the math on that. I mean, I was out of whack. I think I just have to remember that. What was your question, Nazir? I mean, I'm getting...
How are you managing this scale of a business while giving your time to all these philanthropic efforts? Obviously, I mean, the money part, like, okay, you have money to give away because you've got a big heart. That's the easy part, right? But to give time to still manage the amount of people that you're managing and, your relationships, how do you do that while you're scaling, while you're growing a business, specifically in this roofing and home service?
Yeah, that's why it was a unique story. I got sidetracked. My path was unique. I couldn't pull away at working those long hours. I expected everyone to work those long hours around me. It was really hard to crawl out of that. Again, I'm having a really hard time with this. I'm trying to thread a new story. Give me the essence of your hook in one sentence. I'm going too many.
So the essence is, how do you manage your time?
Yes. Okay.
While managing to do all this.
I couldn't do it. And I couldn't do it for giving. It was Vistage that helped me. It was CEOs of a business. It was these guys that would get together for one day, once a month, and they would spend their day. And it was impossible. They said, Charles, come to our Vistage group. I think you'd be perfect. So you'll be able to learn so much about your business. And I said, you guys don't understand. It wasn't that I thought I was so important, but I guess I did. I can't go away. I got to be there all the time. And they said, no, it's actually going to help your people to pull away for the day. They're going to be so proud that they can carry on, and you're going to find that they can do some things better than you. What? It's like all these things were so novice, but I started the business so all in, working so hard. So that started with that. And then once I got into Vistage Group, then I was able to see a lot of examples of different people. Because if you have 10 people and you meet with once a month, you're going to hear how these stories factor in. But then, with me, it was, you knew I gave away roofs. We were struck with a condition as a young company. We couldn't let a family have a leaky roof just because they didn't have the money to pay. So all the time we're like, just patch it. We weren't happy about it, but we were already giving. And so I think there's sometimes you already are giving. You just don't realize you're doing it. If you pause on it and tell the story, all of a sudden you start to get engagement from your people, pride in your people. And there's something powerful about a proud member. Their productivity is 30% higher. And if they don't leave, if they stay, I mentioned it earlier, the retention rate in the roofing industry, border to border, is like 44%. Less than half of the employees will be at their company next year. They'll transfer out of trade or another company. And Antis Roofing holds a 90% retention rate. I mean, what's that worth? You've heard that stat. If you lose one employee, it's going to cost you $80,000 in all the retraining. What if you lose half your team? How do you have quality on a roof? So what's the value of Antis having a 90% retention rate? I mean, it's got to be millions and millions of dollars of lack of could have been losses, and not just us, but the properties we're working on. There's no question that our roofs, when there's 200,000 parts on the average HOA roof that we install, there's no question that our roofs are more tight when purpose is thrown into every nail. We actually say every nail matters here. So that's really it. It didn't start that way. I started with Vistage, but then I learned, oh my God, the more I give away, like I said before, we're flooded with more. And then these people start showing up. And by the way, if you want your company to really grow, if you want to get past 30 million, where it can really start running more smoothly, then you need to attract really good leaders. Only way that you can attract and retain leaders that anybody be proud to have at the biggest companies is through purpose. My COO, my president, Susan DeGrassi, she's the incoming chair of Southern Cal Chapter's Red Cross board. She's on the NRCA board, the National Roofing Hunters Association. By the way, when she came to work for me, she didn't serve on boards. I knew she liked to donate time, and I just simply told her story. Now she's so happy. You think she'll ever go anywhere else? I mean, I only say it braggadociously because she's told me, Charles, I'll never go anywhere else. And she told me that because she thought I might hear of the offers she was getting. But that's it. It's purpose. It's me investing. And by the way, she's a great leader. She's smiling all the time. Do you know the value of that kind of happy stickiness in your company, in the roofing industry? She makes us all feel better about what we do. And that is a beautiful thing. So eventually, if you have purpose in your company, the people show up. But if you want to keep them, and my director of marketing, who Bobby reports to, Bobby's over there in the booth, she volunteered, but now she's on the Ronald McDonald House board. She's on the National Women in Roofing board. So they're happy. They're contributing. It's not just for me as the owner. I'm in the next stage now where I'm giving giving the same gift to my employees. I tell everybody, we will help you volunteer. We give them paid time off. We match their donations. And it sounds like there's not enough to do this. As I'm saying this, what are you saying, Charles? No. The more you give, the more great life is in every way. It just doesn't make sense the way you thought it would. It's not just a bank account. It's a lack of drama. It's the big jobs that came out of nowhere that if you really carve it out, wouldn't have happened. Life is a blessing when you set it up to be a blessing. Getting your mindset in a way that you can do this every day. And that's the other thing I want to say. If you want to do this every day, it's not easy because your brain will constantly tell you there's not enough. You have practice. You have to do things like meditation or prayer, or those things that would bring you into your zone. You need to be, write gratitude list. What I'm grateful for. What will make the day great. If I'm going to talk on something like this, I say that I'll tell the stories that will awaken people to their greatness. If you write down your intention, oh my God, who knew that actually matters? But these are the things I have to figure out, because to be this way, I can't go to work one day and be an asshole. I have to be on my best behavior and be responsible for every word that comes out of my mouth. And that's not easy. By the way, one more thing, I'm getting knee surgery tomorrow. I'm getting this right knee replaced tomorrow. And I'm not happy about it. I'm scared. But I want you to know I earned that knee through a career in roofing. I wish everybody who had that in the roofing industry could get the same care that I'm getting. I wish I could make that happen. I mean, there's always something more we can do. And by the way, having dreams that you're helping people like roofers whose bodies wear out, having dreams like that, watch something eventually happen. That's dreaming and talking with your friends about doing something good in your trade and your community. Oh my God. I mean, you should see the stuff happen in the Roofing Alliance. Duvall, I can't say his last name correctly right now, Duvall from Clemson University, who's brought roofing to Clemson. He started at Arizona State. This guy's incredible. Right after I brought the idea of Ronald McDonald House, they got that thing going. He comes in, I got an idea, we're going to bring roofing into colleges. Now it's across the country. Texas A&M just adopted roofing. You can get a minor in roofing, soon to be a major. We have our own roofing center at Clemson University. And it's all because of big desires of Duvall and an industry that's really built to work together. In fact, that's the last thing I'll say to you that I'm pitching myself today. If you love this industry, and get involved in the NRCA. And if you really want to give back, take a call with the Roofing Alliance. Join this club. Those of us who give back to the trade that protects, because it's given us so much. So anyway.
Getting towards the end of the show, so we do a rapid fire round where you get 5 seconds to answer a question. I guess that's kind of non-Charles Antis-like, because you like to tell stories, but this is going to be interesting, and I want to see how you respond to these. So there's no right answer. This is just for fun. We're going to start with the rapid fire. Here we go. Most impactful nonprofit or cause you support. Charles, let's go.
Most impactful. I'm going to say Roofing Alliance because we're just there.
Okay. Biggest myth about the roofing industry?
That we're a bunch of scammers.
I agree with that one. Well, not that you're scammers, but that's very commonly misinterpreted. Yeah. One word that describes your leadership style.
Honest.
5 seconds. Honest?
Yeah.
Honest. I'll go with honest.
I can't not tell you the truth.
Your go-to source for inspiration, Charles?
Trees.
Trees.
I could explain it, but it's trees. It's my quick spiritual reconnect. I hold the tree on the way in here before it comes in, and it somehow starts swaying and it awakens me to something. It's kind of like a quick spiritual connection. I don't understand it. I just do it.
The best way to unwind after a long week?
Family.
Any historic or philanthropic figure who inspires you?
Fred Hill, the founder of Ronald McDonald House. The story that created Ronald McDonald House Charities. So now across the world, we can have kids close to their families when they need it the most, when they're being treated for.
One thing you wish more roofers would do?
Give it away, man. Watch what happens. It's like the happy.
Give it away.
Give it away. Give that roofing away. You have this beautiful thing, man. Find out what it feels like to give it away. Wow.
Awesome. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
All right, last one. If you could be remembered for one thing, just one thing, what would it be?
That I did the best I could.
Awesome, Charles. That is so wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Antis again from Antis Roofing and Waterproofing. Charles, if you can just tell our audience where people can find you online, social media, they can look you up. We're going to put this in the description of the YouTube description, all our social handles, and we'll also obviously share the videos with you guys. But go ahead, tell us where people can find you.
Well, I'm easy to find. I'm at LinkedIn, Charles Antis on LinkedIn. Or you could look at Bobby. Bobby's in the booth. Bobby, how do we get a hold of what's our other handles? Can you flip that?
So you can find us at Antis Roofing on all your favorite social media.
That's a good answer.
Okay.
It's a sweet mustache, too.
That's easy. Antis Roofing. Well, this has been swell. This has been quite the emotional roller coaster for me as well. I kind of had to hold back my water from my ears for a few seconds there. Thank you so much, Charles. I hope to have you another episode some other time, but what a show. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, knee surgery tomorrow, baby. Ah, the roof.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that knee surgery.
I'm just cheering myself up. I really
I'll
wanted
be
to get
cheering
this
you
in.
on.
I shaved my beard last night. I'm actually copying Bobby's mustache. Bobby, show him your mustache again. Sweet mustache. He's my mustache.
That's a good mustache.
Yeah, shaved my beard for the first time in like
You guys
5
could be
years.
twinning.
We're twinning. We are. Thank you. See,
Yeah.
Bobby, will you stand in for me on the knee replacement tomorrow?
I'll do my best.
I think if Bobby gets a hat, he could be pretty close.
Double. He's my double.
He's missing the hat right now.
My stunt double.
This is so much fun. I thought you actually abandoned me because I was like, oh, Nazar is not that important. So
We were trying. Man. We couldn't get it to connect, but that happened.
No, it's all good. We made it work. All right, guys, I'm going to have to sign off for this time. High five.
High five, man.
And I will see you, my friend, in maybe another NRCA meeting or RoofCon or wherever you're at next time. I would love to meet you sometime.
I'll just say, I got to say one more thing. I got to say it in the voice Charlton Heston. It's the trade as old as time, roofing.
The trade as old as time. All right. Well, we'll be signing off over here. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Those of you who are watching, check us out at theroofingmarketer.com. Check out Charles Antis on LinkedIn and Antis Roofing on social media. Signing off. Thank you so much. See you next time.